All right,
All
awesome.
right.
So thank you guys for coming back to the second episode of Boom Bust Radio. Here we have our special guest, Battle Nation's Emperor. Say thank you to him for tuning in. It's really cool to see you here.
Dude, thank you for having me, dude. It's my pleasure to be here, and dude, I love these kind of podcast, kind of talk things. I think this is a great one for Hell's Corp right here. And again, thank you two gentlemen for having me on.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it was. We wanted to find like our niche to fit somewhere in the YouTube scene, and this is what we decided on. Plus, I wanted to see more YouTube content about Battle Nations, and why not make it our own? Something cool for HSC to do. But today's topic is going to be about units. We're going to be talking about just a couple different things, unit balancing, kind of what we want to see out of them moving forward, and different ideas that Madrona can use moving forward, talking about units and such. I guess we can start off, if you want to tell us, what is your guys' favorite unit in the game?
Well, that's a great one. So I'll answer this in two ways, most optimal, and then I'll just go off favorite. Favorite purely, and it is a good unit, I just genuinely love him, is the Wimp. I feel he's so iconic to the game. He just irritates Battle Nations. We all know how he is. He's terrible until he's good. I love his system. I love how he is, and he's just a core element of the game. As far as usefulness right now, I'm going to have to go with Super Tanks. Super Tanks are just so viable. They're so up there.
Until we had
that Arc Shredder. I think he had the highest HP in the entire game. Or maybe it was one other unit. But point being is they're so versatile, so strong. And then even the Mega Tank, because I know a lot of people are painting this image of, once Mega Tank comes out, your supers are going to be mech. It's not really that much. It has slightly more armor, slightly more HP, and then that's just that. So, I mean, by all means, Super Tank, just because it's a few nanopods less, I'll take a few stats less, and it's great to get to R6 right now.
Yeah, the Mega Tank, it's better than Super Tank. You can't really argue that. But in terms of, the healing is, the biggest thing for it. Because even if you stack up 100 widgets, I mean, you're so limited compared to supers, and on healing time as well. I don't know. That's why I got so many supers, and I'm going to get megas, but I'm not as excited for them. I'm pretty satisfied with the supers that I got. Me personally, I like the Wandering Samurai a lot. I like him more than the Blood Ninja just because he has, a different model. I think it looks sick. Please talk about
I think only reason Ninja got that aura is because he was so early on. A lot of, the OGs loved him, but I'm with you. If Wandering Samurai had been released at the same time Blood Ninja is, he would have even a stronger cult following because he has such aura in his look.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my favorite unit, honestly, I mean, I keep saying this. I'm very partial to the Imperial Fury. I just think it looks really cool. I like the Silver Wolf units a lot, so that's probably my pick. But I mean, currently it's obviously the Super Tank. I have way too many of them, so I think it's a pretty obvious choice.
All right, cool.
Absolutely. And just since we all agree it's a good unit, one last thing I'd like to throw in if I might just before we move on. The jump from the medium tank to the super tank is about double HP. You're going from 265 HP at max to 510. That's the medium tank to the super. Massive jump there. From the super to the mega though, it's 50 HP. Only 50. And armor it's even worse, it's only 35. So just again, measly jump for a unit that costs more nanopods. Again, if you have R6 supers right now, you're chilling.
Yeah, and widgets to heal. That's the biggest thing. You're just so limited on how many you can have compared to just steel and oil. All right. But there's been a lot of talk, at least in HSC there has been, about promo units. And I'm sure there was a suggestion, I can't remember who posted it a while back, of changing the way that promo units work. Because right now promo units were a mixed bag of some of them like the Supreme Mini Tank, which is just a slightly better version of a normal mini tank. And then there were some like the mech artillery and the mech tank, which are just insanely overpowered, completely busted. Do you think that Madrona should kind of have a normalized pattern for promo units? People were suggesting that promos should be better, slightly better versions of units that we have now, or remixes of what we have now, instead of a mixed bag. I don't know if you have any opinions on that, Em.
No, dude, I think that's a great question because I would say that is one of the most controversial things in the community right now because, I mean, dude, we are either going to have to bring those units back as limited edition or not as limited edition. And no matter what we choose, we're going to have a bunch of angry fans, unfortunately. So I think it's a big question for us to have decided in the community. And for me, it's this. And I do understand everybody has different opinions on this. If you disagree with me, that's completely understandable. But the way I view it would be kind of a compromise, and we do it like this. Take something like you said, the Supreme Mini Tank was available in one shop offer. He was $5 and you could only get one of them, and he was a slightly better mini tank. He had a little rocket, he had better stats. I think a unit like that could be truly limited edition, one and done, never brought back. But a unit more like, you know, let's be honest, the legendary animals, the mech tank. I mean, the mech tank can literally 1v1 the AC and win, right? That guy is beyond overpowered. So yeah, units like that you could not have be truly limited edition, because if you had somebody who got them and somebody who didn't, well, they obviously have a competitive advantage over the new players who would want to be joining the game and want to be competitive. So that would be my concept. If they're broken, you have to have them, you know, come back or at least be seasonal. And if they're, you know, cooler, more calm, like, you know, the Supreme Mini Tank or my personal favorite, Rudunk the Red-Nosed Raptor, then I'm going to go with truly limited edition.
You're the only person I've ever heard shout out the Rudolph troop. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that's a pretty niche pick, honestly.
I love that bro so much, and I have such a connection because I was only like level 12 at the time of that event, and I should not have been able to max out that building to 10, but I spent $20 of my own money on a $25 iTunes gift card to buy nanopods, to buy gold, because you remember you could spend nanos to buy gold, and yeah, I spent money to get Rudunk the Red-Nosed Raptor, which was not a good enough unit to justify for $20, but I did it.
Hey, good on you.
I'm sorry, Waffle. I'll try to speak slower.
No, it's Waffle's fault.
Okay.
He's got something going on over there. But yeah, how do you think they should bring? Because I know people were talking about legendary animals, and Madrona specifically mentioned them as like a, you know, we will retune them when they come back. Do you have any opinions on like how they should do that, or like what you want to see out of legendary animals?
I would love to see, first things first, keep the original design and attack moves. I don't think they should redesign them. I don't think they are going to. I don't think they're going to remove any moves. I've heard some proposals of that. I just don't think that'd be Madrona style. The one thing I will say though, is we need to have an established pattern of bringing back these troops. Because I'm going to go ahead and say it, we're not going to have the secret vault back because Madrona's already said there's not going to be loot boxes. And the secret vaults were just basic loot boxes before loot boxes were a thing.
Yeah,
with
they were
Overwatch,
terrible.
you know, where they like really blew up. Oh yeah, they were awful. So they can't do secret vaults. They can't do like, you know, bring back events. So they're going to have to bring these units back as either truly limited edition, which, you know, you can't do for something as strong as legendary animals, or you're going to have to recycle them. I think we should have something seasonal, recyclable, or maybe even missions. I want to throw in a fellow YouTuber here, Murph, which is a great YouTuber, Battle Nations YouTuber, and he had given an excellent suggestion. I just want to pass it on, and it is he proposed having a legendary animal you could fight, so like a boss boar, a boss raptor, so on and so forth, and their 5%, you know, boss drop is a 5% chance at a legendary raptor, legendary boar, so on and so forth. So he just says we make, you know, the legendary animal with boss drops, which I think would be an interesting proposal. Also, bring back gambling is so base.
Yeah, I think that's sick. I love the that suggestion because I know AP has brought it up on stream as well, and I've always thought that was a really cool
we talked about it a little bit last week as well. It's a really good idea. I think, I don't know, I would like to see banners. So what a lot of other games do is they'll have a limited time release for a unit, and then it'll go away for a little bit, and then a few months later it'll come back. I think that's a really good middle ground in my opinion. You still get a little bit of the limited time effects, but you're not locked out of a really good unit permanently. Being able to get, you know, a unit like the legendary sandworm or something like that, especially if it's necessary for clearing some content or doing really well on a boss strike, I think just having it come back intermittently would be a good way to solve that, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we talked about this a bit last week. I want to know what you think about this. Have you ever played Destiny 2?
I unfortunately have not, I'm sorry.
Damn, okay, that's fine. Well, there's an NPC in it. His name is Zur. Every week he comes around and he sells a like random selection. It's the same for everyone. Of like exotic weapons, which is like the rarest rarity in that game for weapons, and he sells like a random patch of like 4 exotics. So because I remember someone suggested having like a trading boat or whatever that comes by that you can buy stuff from. We thought that it would be cool if there was a black market for promo units. Like once a month it comes around, 4 random promo units get thrown back into the shop that are available for sale. To keep them like, so that way if you miss the first time, they can come back randomly in the future.
I like that. So my 2 immediate questions I would have is, are they random for everybody? Like, do I have 3 different promo units? Do you have 3 different promo units? Are they unique for every individual person? Or are they for all of the server all at once, the entire group? And then my second question would be, are they limited? Like, is there only 1,000 of each promo, and then once they're out, they're out? Or are they just as many as you want for a certain amount of time? Because I've heard arguments for both that way.
Yeah, I think the idea was that they would be set for everybody. So you will all have the same shop. Now, we didn't consider the possibility of having a limited amount of them. I feel like that could get messy pretty quick.
Yeah, some people are going to sit there. Go for it, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, because there's some people, I'm not naming names, but potentially myself, who buy a lot of one particular nano unit. And someone like that might, scoop up half of the supply or something like that. So I just feel like that would start some fights over who gets what unit, and if anybody ever bought like more than a few of them, I feel like they might not be as liked.
Yeah,
you couldn't do quantity.
Sorry, go for it.
Good point. I was just gonna agree. I was just legit gonna agree because like I wanted to throw out just because I've heard the quantity argument, but I think you put it perfectly. You couldn't do it because people who have too many would be shunned for spending money on the game, which is something you never want to do. And then it would just be this awkward contest of I want to buy one, but I don't know what the limit is, and this craziness.
Yeah, I think it should be, if there's a limit, it's per person, so you can buy like 3 or 2 or 3 of like a certain unit.
Yeah.
But
like that.
In terms of for everyone, the shop, it has to be normalized for everyone, because like people already have terrible RNG now with boss drops. Imagine I go to my shop and I have legendary mammoth, legendary sandworm, mech troop, mech artillery, and then you go to your shop and you have death from above. That's gonna feel really, really bad.
I can already see the RNG. I go into my shop, I have Supreme Tank. You go into your shop, you have Mech Tank. We both have the option to buy for 100 nanopods. Yeah, that would be crazy.
And then we're gonna get talks about a black market pity system that we're gonna have to implement. All right. Humanoid asked us to bring up artillery units. Didn't give just about anything usable, what needs fixed. Artillery units are pretty weak, I guess, overall. Most of them are kind of unusable. And then there's like a small handful that are usable, like when you get them, like brimstone and stuff. I don't really know how to fix them, I'm gonna be honest.
Well, actually, I will say we can talk about the the predicament of the plasma artillery, because I know that they're kind of in a weird spot. I think, aren't they technically classified as something else? I don't know, but
yeah, they're wrong.
The problem lies in the fact that we have all these artillery options. I mean, there's not a ton, but we have some interesting ones. But as soon as we get the plasma artillery, they all kind of become nullified. I mean, 90% of them aren't as strong as the plasma artillery. So if you're not producing plasma art, then you're playing the game wrong. What is your opinion on the plasma artillery? And do you think that there's a way to actually make it not game-breakingly broken?
Absolutely. So yeah, you unlock it, I believe, at level 69, right?
Yeah.
Something
the
like that.
artillery?
Yeah, that's correct.
So very in-game artillery, but as far as artillery in general, the plasma artillery, I would say you would just have to introduce either more competitive artillery to it or nerf the artillery, plasma artillery, simple as that. I would go more with trying to add more competitive artillery or boost the other artillery. Don't try to hurt plasma artillery. I just think that would hurt the fans who enjoy plasma. But as far as artillery in general, same thing with the sniper. Besides the Deadeye, there are really no good snipers in Battle Nations. I mean, they're not bad. I'm not saying the Marksman's bad, but you know what I mean? Like, they're not really that competitive. And how do you make a unit like that competitive in Battle Nations? And besides introducing like certain game modes, like for example, maybe indoor, outdoor, vehicle, non-vehicle, where like, you can only use humans, snipers might become a more advantage. And let's say long range situations, you might want artillery, but that doesn't make them more viable in actual PvP, just, regular 1v1s like, you and I might go into. So I would say you'd either have to massively buff them and work them around the game, or add a condition to where they can succeed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think I will say the nicest thing about how Madrona is choosing to update the game is that because we're stopping at all these interesting increments of levels, we have been given the opportunity to actually use some of the units that were previously completely overlooked. So it is a nice opportunity to actually get to use some of these units, like the marksman. I know that, if we had all 70 levels available to us right now, probably none of us would have built the marksman. But now that we're actually here, we can utilize it a little bit more. That's kind of why right now would be an interesting point in time, in my opinion, to get stuff like the boss strike and like PvP, because it gives us more interesting ways to play the game. That's just my personal take on it. I'm curious what you think about that, Emp.
Dude, no, I love that, and I could be wrong here, but I think you're also saying it kind of paints a story of development, Z2 made these levels in increments as well, and Madrona is kind of recreating that as opposed to just slapping down all 70 levels at once. So it gives us kind of this natural progression to where, you'll train, a marksman or, a level 40 or 50 nanopod unit, as opposed to if they just added max level 70 instantly, nobody would have been training those units. I agree, it gives the game nice culture, it lets everybody progress, more naturally. And also, I just want to add, I think the PvPs will be a little bit more fun. Heck, I hope we get PvP before Mega Tank, because PvP pre-Mega Tank and then post-Mega Tank will be something to remember.
Oh, I'm so hyped for PvP. Honestly, I think I'm more excited for PvP than boss strike.
That's fair, man, because, boss strikes, you're in a cool prize and, community and stuff, but, 1v1, you got an issue with a guy, 1v1 in Battle Nations, that's going to go hard.
Oh my god. I don't know, actually, I'm going to sit in the PvP menu for 8 hours at a time and just play PvP all day.
I'm definitely going to be participating in PvP a lot. And this actually transitions really well. We were going to talk about arena challenges and those units in particular, because the units that you get for being in the top whatever amount of guilds that it is, they got a very special unit. And those units were very, very strong. I'm curious if you have any thoughts, as to how we might be able to balance that a little bit more. Because what do you do when you're going up against somebody that so happened to be in a top guild and they got a really, really good unit, one of those, like the Warmonger or whatever it was called. I can't remember. One of the Mongers, or one of the
I believe.
Yeah, the Deathmonger. Yeah. So, when you're going up against somebody like that, you can't really do a whole lot, right? You kind of just have to accept the loss there. Do you think that there should be any way for other people to get those units? Do you think that it should always just be, they earned that unit, you can't really do anything about it, and they should be strong? Do you think that they should be a little bit weaker? Because they were pretty strong when they were released. So I'm just curious what you think about that.
Yeah. So I think the strength of the unit, I want to answer that in two parts. The first part being, I do think the units should maintain their strength, unless, we really just want to come together and knock them down. I think they should remain where they were before, a complete Madrona Games balance change whenever they do that in the future. But in that same breath, I do also want to say, I don't think they should be reserved for the number 1, number 10, number 100 guilds in the world. I would much rather prefer a boss strike system to where, you earn X amount of points and you get them. Because why is, instead of all of us rooting together as a Battle Nation community trying to boost up, we're now all versus each other. Let's say it's top 3 guilds get the Deathmonger. Okay, well, now everybody except 3 guilds are all going to hate each other and trying to, root against each other while only benefiting each other. I just hate dividing the community as opposed to building them up. So I would like to keep their strength, but just make them more of a target all of us can reach. Super hard, but something that we all can reach without having to compete against one another.
Yeah, that's pretty much nail on the head. Because with boss strike, it's obviously you compete because you want your guild to be the best, but it's even if you're not, you're still gonna get the unit. And imagine, let's say, MMP War HSC, they place top 3 and they get the best unit, they get the hell shot. Now those guilds are going to always have an advantage in every single PvP arena challenge moving forward. And so the next one, they're probably going to place top 3 again and get the next best unit, and so on and so forth. So the top guilds get stronger, the bottom guilds get weaker, and it's a
little
snowball.
bit cyclical.
Yeah, it's a bit of a snowball effect. So, and like casuals and stuff, like people who aren't ingrained in PvP and don't want to participate, well, you guess your shit out of luck, you know. You just don't get a unit. It's pretty, it feels really bad.
So yeah, you don't want to create a situation like the old NFL where, you know, it's like, you know, there was no money cap, so you had a few winning teams, and then all of them have to spend all the money, get all the stars, and then you have to introduce something like, you know, the price cap. So yeah, definitely don't want a situation where the first 3 are able to dominate with the Deathmonger, guarantee their next 3, and then just
100%.
become, you know, the elite guilds, and nobody can break in.
That kind of, yeah, I don't want to see a snowball effect like that. Eventually, it's like you said, it's just gonna, you know, people might be upset the first time, but they're gonna be really upset the second time moving forward, as like, you know, Madrona only cares about whales, and that's not gonna look good for like free-to-play players and like casual players and so on. So I just don't think they should bring arenas back the same way that they had them before. They'll probably rework all that stuff in the future anyway, so
100%.
yeah, I'll give them a little faith, even though they haven't shown that they will, but you know, I have trust that they have the game's best interest in mind. So also, when do you think, on this on promo units, when do you think we see the first promo unit? Because they said that they're probably not going to do one for the first boss strike, which means that one, they break the tradition of there being a promo for basically every event in the game, and 2, what do you think the first promo unit added should be?
Fantastic. I think, well, I do want to say, just unfortunately to set expectations, I do think we're probably going to get guilds next, and then after guilds, I think we're all going to be focused on boss strikes. I think boss strikes will be after
100%,
that.
yeah.
Then, after you just, you know, thank you. And yeah, after you just said it yourself, they are breaking the tradition, so we're not going to have a promo then. Honestly, I think it's going to be a while, maybe a you know, update or two, so it might be early, you know, 2026 before we get one. As far as first one back, there's 2 ways you can handle it. You can either do the walk-up method, if you want to do something like where you walk us up to the coolest units. Go with something like held back. Go with like, you know, Supreme Tank, or maybe even, you know, something like the Raider Recruit, right? But if they want to start us off hard, drop the mech tank, drop the, you know, legendary animals, do something crazy like that. Probably not, but
no, Madrona,
yeah, I'll
please.
just decide. Yeah, let's actually not. I think a good middle ground, all jokes aside, would be the Special Ops. The Special Ops is literally just a boosted Field Agent. He's Field Agent,
I said the
exact
same thing.
a harder fit and better attacks that do more damage.
Oh, I saw that video. I know you you quite like the Special Agent. He is pretty cool. He is pretty sick.
It's very cool.
He looks amazing, yeah.
I think something like where is it? Boom Bus actually could be a good first unit because it's free to play. That's the reason why. Like post nerf, like it's all right, but it's really not that great. But it is free to play, which means that everyone can get it. Oh, and do you think they should add more free to play promo units that you can just produce while they're active?
1,000,000,000%, absolutely. I think one of the reasons the promo units and kind of limited edition is so hard to kind of root for, kind of, you know, argue for in the community is because they do have a negative reputation as being kind of whale exclusive. And I think that's because one of the very first great limited edition units was the Boom Bus, and they never brought him back. They didn't bring him back for a Secret Vault, a, you know, Return Wednesday. They wanted to make sure, you know, they never did that again. The only time they ever gave us another free promo unit was the Unicorn Trooper when they knew the game was dying.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it would be awesome and a great gesture by Madrona with all of the, you know, nano units, promo units. They throw in a few more and they make them like the Boom Bus. You know, cost widgets, cost laurels, cost expensive resources, but let free-to-play players be able to get them.
Yeah. It's even funnier on the Boom Bus, and you can just see how much Z2 hated free-to-play players because they nerfed it. Like, I know it was really good, but legendary animals existed for the entire game's life cycle pretty much. Never touched them. Boom Bus, though, that's too much. That was too much for the player base to handle. They had to nerf it, which I think is so funny.
Isn't it multiple nerfs?
Let me look at the
so.
wiki page real quick.
Oh yeah, I just pulled it up, and it is, yes. They knocked it from a sonic boom, then they gave another, and then they did the brown noise. They did 3 individual patches
That's
to
crazy.
hit this bad boy.
They really
That's
just
depressing.
did not like the free-to-play players. But I'm actually curious. Do you think that they should take any of the current nano promo units and make them free-to-play? That's what I'm really interested to hear.
I think that would be a great gesture from the community. Of course, it would be a bit of a profit hit, but I think it would be a trade-off.
Yeah.
Do I think they will do it? I think that's totally in the hands of Madrona. I would love to request it. I would love to hear a community request for it. If they were to do it, what would be a good unit to do it for?
Yeah.
Hear me out. I would just say it just because I feel like, you said it doesn't really have a unique design. It's just a retexture, and also it is still widely loved. Let's go with the Blood Ninja. Imagine he's high resource, but he's free. You don't have to spend nanos on him.
Whoa, that's controversial, I think, actually.
For free to play.
That's your choice? For free to play.
I thought we agreed the Wandering Samurai here, is better than the Blood Ninja. I wasn't aware we were all Blood Ninja enjoyers. Hold on. I was gonna say, we keep the Wandering Samurai. Are we gonna do it backwards? I'm just trying to give a cool unit. If we're talking about making a promo unit free, I want it to be a cool one.
I agree.
Oh, it would be cool. But it's definitely really strong. Max, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Blood Ninja is better than Wandering Samurai.
I think it
He
might
is
be.
by a mile.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can even. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I can.
No,
tell
you're
you that
good.
percentage.
No, I just think Wandering Samurai is sick because of its design. But Blood Ninja being free would be absolutely huge for free to play. That would be a big one for them indeed. Good gesture, but it would definitely be on the stronger side.
Thinking about the power scale, that definitely makes me want to reconsider. I was just thinking of purely optics and how it looked. But no, as soon as you said power, I immediately recalled that one move where it does a few hundred to a single target, and I was like, yeah, maybe we don't want this free to play. So yeah, the Wandering Samurai
against the AS.
I think you could beat it with the Ancient Sentinel, couldn't you?
I'm pretty
use
sure
Blood
you
Ninja?
could.
Yeah, so unbelievably strong, and level 50. So yeah, right next to where we're about to level up to. Maybe not him, maybe the Wandering Samurai. Weaker, but also got that aura. Just something cool that people could appreciate, I would say, for a free promo unit, if they were to do it.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't say anything like, there's like the armored SUV. There's the Spec Ops unit.
Here's an easy
Imperial
one.
Fury.
Adult animals. All the
true.
Raptor Lord,
Yes.
Matriarch. They should just be
dude.
in the animal trainer.
They should just be
realistically.
regular animals, bro.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be promo. I still can't get over a random weekend. You could train the Raptor Lord, Matriarch, Mammoth, all of those, and then outside of that weekend, if you weren't getting them from a secret vault or return discount, you could never get them. That is so crazy considering you fight them 24/7 in the game.
Yeah, Z2's their unit team, balancing team, whatever, they were not locked in at all. Not in the slightest.
Not at all. And you know what's even crazier? I'm sorry, just one more I want to throw in
Go
that's
for it.
even crazier than adult animals. You know the brawler, the Raider brawler that we
Yeah.
fight, the guy just with the fist?
Yeah.
He was a promo unit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I just can't get over that one. He was a promo, yeah.
I think Humanoid wanted us to bring up the Raider units and Silver Wolves, in terms of like how we can retune those or what we should do with them. For me, it's just make the training camp cost like 5 skulls, 3 to 5 skulls instead of 20 right now, 30? Is it 30?
It's like 25, yeah.
It's 30.
Yeah.
Or it might be
Or something
30, yeah.
like that, yeah.
Which is crazy for level 18. No one is ever gonna have that many skulls at that level.
It took me ages to get that many. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't get my first Raider camp until level like 35 or something, like 36. Whenever you start seeing lieutenants on your base. But just make it actually achievable at the level that it's supposed to be, like the level 18 to 20 range, so that way you can actually use the units. Like Cannoneer is like, it's pretty good at that level, but it's not that insane that level 8, like 18s, 20s shouldn't be able to get it. Make the Raider Brawler not promo. Add stuff like the Mammoth tank, the War Mammoth. Shit, make the Armored Mammoth. Make it a nanopod unit and put it in there. Honestly, more variety probably just helps out a lot for Raider units. Same thing with Silver Wolves. You get like 6, and there's like 15 different types of Silver Wolves in the game. Just add them into the vault and let us play with them. That alone makes them obtainable, for most people.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that would be a good compromise as well.
I think also Silver Wolves, I think I brought this up last time, that they should be like the escalation of Raiders, because Silver Wolves are kind of like that for the story in general. Raiders can be your like 18 to 25 or whatever units, and then Silver Wolves can take over as that next enemy faction unit that you can train. And you're like, what do we get them? 40? What do we get them at? 47? You know, you're 47 to like 55 range, something like that. I think that would make it a lot of fun to play with.
Dude, absolutely. And if there's any unit I would be okay with just receiving a balance across the board, it would be the Silver Wolves and Raider units, because you're absolutely right. For the cost you have to put up for them, when you finally get them, it's not worth it, you know? You spend all of those skulls to, you know, get the camp, and then you gotta spend even more to train them up. By the time you get a Cannoneer or, you know, a single Dustwalker or whatever, you're going to have better options. It's no incentive. So yeah, definitely make it cheaper there. And also, I'll just go ahead and take it a step even further. I say give them a slight stat buff across the board. Because, I mean, are you really scared when you see a Cannoneer? Even if you were in PvP, would you be scared? I wouldn't. I'd be like, ooh, easy flesh bag to kill, you know? So, yeah, I mean, by all means, I think, yeah, a buff across the board as long with reducing their resource cost would be great.
All right. So this was a conversation that we had like a couple of days. Oh, what does Emp think about in-game lore, or rather the lack of, and what would he like to see in the future? That's from Simplicity. Emp, that's for you.
Ooh. That is like one of the best questions out there. So for me, I would like to see a conclusion. I've talked about this multiple times on the channel. Quick spoiler warning for anybody in here, if you could just like tune out for only 30 seconds. But it's this. At the end of the game, as we all know, the Emperor is killed by General Ash. He's able to trick us. We go up north. He goes down south, attacks the capital, Karsten, burns it to the ground. You know, all that. Then he defects. As he defects, he's killed by his own men. He tells Morgan, you know, you don't understand. There's somebody manipulating the rebellion. There's a puppet mastermind. And worse, they're in your base. Don't trust anybody, Morgan. And then he dies. And then Z2 got shut down. Bro, it has haunted me for a decade. Who is that mastermind? I need to know. I'm like Rick Sanchez going through every single universe trying to find my wife's killer, figuring out who this man is. Because it's somebody in our base who is working against the Empire and actually was coordinating with the rebels. So it is a massive lore history that just makes you wonder who was the spy this entire time. And Z2 just never figured that out. So thankfully, Boris did work on, of course, the original Z2. So if anybody's to decide who the spy is, I hope it's him. And yeah, I just hope they finish up that quest line and then make some own story of their own. So really just finish up those loose ends, give us some closure, and then make their own story. And I fully trust Madrona to make good story.
That is so funny. That actually makes me wonder, who do you think it is?
Honestly, I'm going to have to go with one of my guild mates here, because he made a great proposal a while ago, and we stuck with it ever since. I've made a few memes about it. And Tio, the YouTuber, he believes it is, and I agree with him, it is Floyd. It's not Ramsey, because obviously he was the one I was told to. It possibly could, no, I'm sorry, it could be Maury, he's the one too. It could possibly be Ramsey, but he just seems too loyal to the Empire and too loyal to Morgan on a personal level to betray him. Perkins, we literally see walk onto the base, like as the new kid. So, I mean, it could possibly be him, but we've seen him like do to me stupid things and put himself in situations where a spy wouldn't. Like even death-defying situations that Morgan constantly puts him in. Zoe cares too much about the children. And yeah, Floyd is just this, you know, really smart guy, but he's never really open about anything. You know, besides veganism and besides, you know, loving the planet, he really doesn't have much more to his character. So if he came out as a villain, I could totally see it.
Not Floyd, man.
Yeah. I will say that's the first thing that my mind went to. When I pictured who the possible traitor could be, the person that I pictured in my head was Floyd. So I don't know if that says anything, but I do think that's probably the best possibility. He seems like he would have the wherewithal to do that. So I can't see anybody else doing it, at least.
No, it's definitely not Ramsey. Ramsey literally crashed out when the Empire or Republic or whatever they're called fell and went on a rampage and almost got himself killed. So it's definitely not him. But yeah, I guess Floyd is a good shout. I know a lot of people think it's like Percival, because he kind of shows up out of nowhere and then he's going on all these, you know, secret adventures and stuff, and Morgan doesn't question him because he keeps giving him booze. I feel like both Percival and Perkins are kind of easy cop-outs, though. They're like so obvious if one of them was it, you know?
Oh, Floyd and like, again...
Go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. Wait, and I'll say, do you want to finish up that point? Because I was just going to respond to it.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, Floyd is just kind of, like, that would be a good shout, I guess. Very.
I was just going to respond to say, Absolutely. I think Perkins and Percival will both be cop-out. Perkins, just because he is a kid and we've genuinely seen him in experience. Maybe if he had these moments of like brightness or like where he did something really smart and like you'd wonder, where'd you know that? Yeah, possibly. But no, he is genuinely a kid. He's not stupid. He's just learning. And yeah, I just don't think, I think that'd be too easy of a cop-out. I don't think it would make sense. And I don't think it's Percival because Ash specifically tells them, it's somebody you trust. It's somebody working within, your area. And I just can't see that being Percival because he drops in and out, but I see him more as just, kind of a wanderer, kind of a traveler, if you will. So I don't see him as a definitive. And yeah, it's definitely, I cannot see it being Zoe because, again, Zoe cares too much about those children. For me, it's Floyd. I'm locked in on Floyd.
Yeah, Badger just said Floyd does express great interest in hidden bases and experimental tech, which he is a scientist, but he's careful. Yeah, I could. Absolutely. He's definitely 100%. A bit of an under the radar style. Like he could do it, to gain access to something that, both sides have found, or kind of go on his own and do his own experiments and stuff. So it could be Floyd. That would be a good pull if it was. What do you want to see? Because I know Madrona started talking about, I don't know how much you know about the Mountain League. Because I know people have said they've mentioned it like one time in the story. Do you know anything about them?
Yeah, no, so I unfortunately don't know too terribly much about them as an actual history. They were mentioned once in the story of OG Battle Nations that I do know. And as far as the new talk around them, I know Madrona, or at least the community around Madrona, has expressed interest for Madrona to continue with that storyline and kind of make them a new faction. I think that would be pretty cool, especially if they wanted to make a new story. I think it would be smart for Madrona to try to attach their first original new story to some of the old story to kind of, have it be a natural transition. And I think doing the Mountain Boys would be a great first step to that. And yeah, I would go with, I think it's a good idea. I don't know, unfortunately, too much about the origin of them, though.
Unfortunate. I don't know about you. What's your favorite faction in the game that we have currently?
The Ancient.
The
Ancients,
there we go.
If you want to count.
I'm so glad that you said that because it's mine too. They are so cool. I want to see so much more. That's why I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of disappointed when they said they were gonna do the Mountain League, because I really, really wanted them to expand on the Ancients. Cause it's a gold mine of stuff. I thought that Z2 did a great job with their designs, being like ancient tech, but also very like strange. If you look at the Ancient Constructs design, it's really like strange the way it looks. It's a robotic snake, but it's big like metal piece in the middle, kind of almost doesn't make sense. And I think that type of stuff is really unique. I would love to see more of them kind of explore. Like, I don't know if you've played Borderlands Amp, but they literally have vaults like that game, and it would be so cool if we could explore inside those vaults and get to see more of like what they were like, their society and stuff.
Yeah, Borderlands is one of my top favorite
Let's
favorite games of all time. So yeah, no, dude, don't even worry about that, dude. Oh my gosh, I have clocked thousands into Borderlands 1 and 2, back and forth. Played a little bit of the pre-sequel, was all right. Borderlands 3 was kind of good. I haven't tried 4 yet. I've heard mixed things from my friends, but I'm going to try that out. But yeah, dude, 1 and 2, that's like my childhood, baby.
Yeah, 2 is one of my favorite games ever. We actually were talking about crossovers. I was going to ask you about this later, but we were talking about crossovers the other day. I suggested a Borderlands crossover. I think it would be so sick to have like psycho units in the game. Maybe some of like the Vault Hunters. We could get like Flak, kind of like a zombie, the zombie hunter, having like a pet or something from 3. Trying to think, Axton with like a turret or something. I think that would be, I don't know if you have anything that you want to see out of like a possible Borderlands crossover, but I think that would be really cool.
No, dude, it would be insane. And not only that, it would make infinitely more sense. I'm sorry, but it would make infinitely more sense than the TF2 crossover. I'm glad we have it. I'm glad we still have those units. But I mean, where are these TF2 guys, from this silly world coming into my Battle Nations world? The world of Battle Nations is unforgiving, is full of death. Same way as the Borderlands world. So I think they totally fit in with each other.
Yeah.
Totally add up.
I think that the Borderlands definitely fits a little bit more aesthetically. That's been the biggest complaint that anybody has with the TF2 units, is just that they're kind of ugly. So I definitely would like to see the Borderlands crossover. Is there any other crossover that you would like to see, or is that like the top one in your mind?
I haven't thought of any. Are we going off realistic possibility or just dream?
Give me one of both, actually.
Absolutely. Possibility, I'm going to actually go with... Let's see, it might be a little bit of a controversial take, but I'm gonna go with something classic. Give me something like Gameloft. With I know they have a few shooters still in the mobile store. Just a classic mobile game maker. And I mean, heck, even if we got an offer from the devil, we might want to take it just for the money. If Supercell came up to us and said, "Hey, you want Clash units and Battle Nations?" I don't know. I mean, like, look, I am a recovered Supercell addict. All right, Battle Nations came back into my life. Haven't looked back since. But you got to admit that game is addictive and it does have a fan base. So if we were given the offer, I want this game to grow above all else, and you got to make a deal with the devil sometimes.
Yeah.
So that would be realistic. Desirable though, just okay, never gonna happen. But dream Pokemon. Imagine having Pokemon in Battle Nations.
What? That is not where I thought you were going.
None. But the biggest IP in the world partnering with Battle Nations, it'd be Cinema. It would immediately put us on the map. So that's why.
Pokemon would be... People complain about the TF2 units and say that they don't fit the
they
game.
would not fit.
Pokemon would cause mass meltdown from the entire player base.
Well,
how
I'm curious.
Charizard.
What Pokemon do you want added to the game?
Let's go with the classics. Give me all 150 original. Okay, no, you couldn't even program that even in a theory. Okay, let's go with all 3 starter evolutions: a Dragonite, Pikachu, and Mewtwo.
Okay. So we're doing the 151 as if they don't get enough love.
Bro, I think Mewtwo could 1v1 the AC. If the mech tank can 1v1 the AC and win, Mewtwo better be able to 1v1 the AC and win.
Amp loves
okay, well that is not where that is not where I thought you were going with the collab wishes. I thought you were gonna say Star Wars or something like that. That would make way more sense.
I'm sorry. That also might kind of look at, because both of those I was kind of looking at the business aspect of it, even, and the realistic, I was doing Supercell just because of growth, and Pokemon I was literally doing growth. Star Wars would be something I actually care about. So I'm sorry, gentlemen. I was purely looking at the dollars, purely looking at the gain. If we're talking off heart to heart, I probably actually would do Star Wars, but that's something I care about. I think it would be fairly popular, but it's not quite my first pick. And it's not quite my favorite pick. My favorite pick would just be Pokemon, because obvious and most realistic pick is Supercell, just because another mobile game.
Ooh. Even being wishful, I think that Star Wars is more realistic though than Pokemon, because you could actually make Star Wars fit into the game. Pokemon has no aesthetic crossover, but at least Star Wars has war in the name. I think that it actually has a chance of being implemented. Pokemon is so left field. I could not possibly even imagine it.
Yearly going off popularity, because no, you're right. If we're actually going off game ability, it would be Star Wars, because you could add Jedis, you could add Stormtroopers, you could add droids. Those look like they would belong on your battlefield. I couldn't see a droid dying on my battlefield. I couldn't see Charizard getting hit by the AC and immediately getting killed and him going to my hospital, right? That might just have some issues. But yeah, Star Wars, totally. I think that would definitely make more sense then. Thinking about it logically would actually be my dream pick. I'm going to switch that just because I don't want Pikachu dying on our game.
Wow. Okay.
You know what would be an absolutely sick... I was looking through my Steam games to try and find something right, because Borderlands is my realistic one. If I had to have a dream one, it would be Doom. Imagine the Doom demons in Battle Nations. For October, instead of Infected, we get a Doom crossover. That would be so cool. Now I'm actually this is crazy. God,
wait, how much could they sell the Slayer for, dude?
As much as they want. Literally put
they
anything
put him out
Doom related. Yeah, I would buy it.
I would pay 1,000 nanos for him easy.
It would be so freaking cool. And we
1,000 nanos.
Okay, calm down.
I'm just I don't want to give them drone ideas here, but I mean, still. If they get the Doom partnership, they can do whatever they want, honestly. They earned it at that point.
Yeah, Doom would be awesome. Seeing Doom Marine can be specialized in killing them, and the demons can be added into the game. That would be so cool. Yugami, do you have anything that you'd like to see for crossover wise?
Something that I would like to see, honestly, I really, it's hard to imagine a lot of crossovers with Battle Nations just because of the nature of the game and the aesthetic and kind of how you play the game. But for something that makes sense, aesthetically, I think I'd probably just have to go with Call of Duty. I'm not a really big Call of Duty fan, but I just feel like you'd have a lot of really good options. There's a few memorable characters over the years from Call of Duty. I think that you could probably make it work.
That's a pretty
Pretty
basic
easy.
one. Pretty easy to.
Yeah, it's pretty
Gotta
easy
get
in
in.
my opinion. So
Yeah. Emp. This was we got way off topic on like the whole crossover thing. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, we did.
This was something that we were having a conversation about in guild chat, right? About boss strike rewards. So in terms of boss strike rewards, right now, pretty much every single reward is a plane, other than the infected troops and like the Thresher
A
tank.
naval?
Oh, and naval. That's right.
Yeah, there's that
Um,
one naval boss, right? You are right. Yeah, Thresher for one of Shro's.
Yeah, infected, naval, and the Thresher tank. Those are the only like non-plane or non-flying units in boss strikes. First, do you want to see planes added as a normal troop type that we can train instead of being exclusive to boss strikes?
Ooh, okay, well, yeah, this is the first like question I really had to lock in and go, do I want to answer the correct answer or do I want to answer my opinion?
I'm interested to hear both, actually.
So I believe the correct answer is to add them back and maybe do a system of a new building, a new something like that, or maybe even just have it at the dry docks where you can make certain aircraft. Me personally, though, I do love the premium and exclusivity that comes with current aircraft and their boss strike. You see an aircraft, you know, okay, this person comes from, at least a decent guild. And I just loved that kind of aura they carried with themselves. As far as, do I want to see more units or different? I think it should only be for special cases. The Thresher was really cool when he came out. Also, Shro got an infinite amount of boss strikes, so they had to shake something up.
Yep.
I think the Infected, the Halloween, that was awesome. That was one of the hallmarks of Battle Nations. Absolutely. The naval boss strike, heck, if you're going to do naval encounters, might as well give naval rewards. That just makes sense. So for cases like that, I'm all for those, 2 thumbs up, but I would like to see personally boss strikes stay air related. But I understand I am in the minority on that, as well as being able to train aircraft.
Yeah, so we actually talked about it a little bit last week, but if they did implement some way to train air units, they could do an air-only boss strike, which in my opinion would be pretty cool. I'm actually of the opinion that the air units should probably stay as a boss strike reward, but the possibilities of having a bunch of different planes that we can train and maybe even getting airplane promo units, all those possibilities, and then to top it all off, getting an air unit only boss strike, that just sounds intriguing to me as somebody who would like to see some new content that shakes things up. I'm curious what you think about that.
Dude, I love that. I think that would be a great compromise. So just to confirm, we have a boss strikes and still boss strike exclusive aircraft, but we would also have let's say 5 to 8 normal aircraft that you could train in an aircraft building, like a hangar.
Yeah.
Absolutely, dude. I love that idea. I think that would be a great compromise. As far as the air boss, dude, I think that just needs to happen no matter what they do. Simply because, you've got multiple land battles, you got multiple sea battles, with the Dreadnought Crack and the ACAS. I just think it makes sense, have something in the air. Maybe one big blimp, a big dragon, however they decide to play it. But yeah, one big air boss I think would be cool. Oh, dragon would go hard.
They could totally add it too. They already have dinosaurs and mammoths and stuff, and ancients. Okay, peak idea, ancient dragon, a mechanical dragon. Nope, Nav just suggested the same
Mechanical
thing.
dragon.
That would be the coolest shit ever. Literally so peak. Madrona, I will work for free, by the way, with these ideas.
It could be like a Chinese New Year event, honestly.
That would be so sick.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Mecha critters, also sick. That would be really cool.
yeah. That is a very cool idea.
And I'm sorry, I just gotta throw it out while it's on my mind, because you were talking about how you liked the ancients as well. It's your favorite pick as well, dude. Besides Boss Strike 4, I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna ever compare to the aura that the Infecteds had. But if any Boss Strike could, it would be Boss Strike 10. Oh my goodness, dude. The mad Silverwolf scientist and him researching ancient technology and then giving you a flying Dexter fragment as tier 10. Dude, that was cinema, dude. Z2 knew they had to go hard for Boss Strike 10, and they absolutely delivered in that one.
I would love to see, like, let's say after Mountain League, let's say it lasts for 10 levels up to level 80, they go from 80 to 90 as they really expand on ancient lore. They give us a ton of new units and stuff in the game. I would love to see a boss strike like a Return of the Ancients, where it's just like all ancient tech, kind of like a Dr. Vogel with the Silver Wolves, but it's fully dedicated to them. Coolest shit ever, in my opinion. I would love it so much. That's something that I would love to see.
1000%. And I can make this reference because we already talked about it. I love this because I was going to try to describe what I see the ancients as. I can already do it. Literally the people who ran the vault, or the entities that made up the vault, at least within the first and second boss strike. Not obviously not iridium powered beings, but the Battle Nation's equivalent of kind of this old alien race that has fragments and buildings on Earth that they can access, and they might come back one day and just completely mess with us. So I think that could tie into the boss strike, tie into future stories from level 80 to 90, and again, I just think there's so much potential with the ancient storyline.
For sure. Humanoid asks us, talk about naval units. What units can be added to naval? I don't know how you feel about naval. I think naval is super, super terrible. It's cool whenever you first get it because it's something new, but late game naval, like what we have right now, is you use M10s, maybe R1s if you don't spend on them, and that's it. Because, like, especially against, like, Shadow Navy, nothing will survive long enough because naval is so overpowered. And the only thing you can use is M10s. It's why they're, considered probably the best nano purchase in the game, because they're almost needed, realistically. Everyone has 2 or 3 M10s. What would you like to see added to naval amp if you have any ideas to kind of, spruce it up?
Yeah. I do want to say, to start it off, unlike a lot of the other things which might have had, a design flaw or, may have had an overlook, I think naval genuinely just suffers from being released way too long into the game's life. I mean, the game went out for most people, with Morgan wearing, that little naval's captain hat, that little naval loading screen. Yeah. But I think it's just simply because, they couldn't expand it, they couldn't update it as they intended to, is the reason we never saw naval fleshed out. I look at naval as an unfinished project that I believe Madrona Games will finish, because you're absolutely right. You train up, 2 to 3 M10s, and that's your entire navy. You might get a few, Raptor classes, whatever, just to spruce it out. Of course, if you get an ironclad, you're going to use that, but that's it. You're not going to use anything else for naval, and it sucks. There's little to no diversity. So I would just want to see Madrona Games come in and finish, what Z2 started. But I think it would be very easy, because again, it's not designed bad, it's just, not finished.
Yeah, 100%. It definitely feels like an unfinished product. I've never really viewed it as a finished product. It doesn't ever feel like that. There's so few units to train. We only have 2 fish. It just feels lackluster. There's not a whole lot there. Is there any kind of like ship, or would you want to see more bosses added to the naval content? Is there something that you really want to see added?
Yeah, dude, I would love to see more situations where land and sea are added. You have a few of those, but I think more battles where, you have 1 or 2 lanes sea, and then, a few lanes, naval, where you have naval and land lanes would be cool. And normally it's on the opposition side, but I think, where it's on your side could be more cool. That would make naval more viable. But as far as units that I would want to see, simply, let's go with, more destroyers, maybe even an aircraft carrier if we want to go that crazy, although that might be a little bit too big. But just more naval and more diversity in it, because again, like we both said, it's just so unfinished. And I like the point you brought up. There's only 2 critters, literally the baby grouper and the monster grouper, and it has a whole building. That just feels so weird when you think about it.
Yeah, it's kind of the same with Bigfoots having their own training spot instead of just being in the animal trainer. I would love to see, I was thinking of different like naval units. Nuclear submarines would be cool. Mm-hmm. I think that aircraft carriers would be awesome. Maybe they can have, like, they still take up 1 tile, but they can have like airplanes like idling around them that they send out to do their attacks. Trying to think, what else
cool.
can we add to naval?
I wonder with an aircraft carrier, It should drop an airplane when it dies, kind of like how the turtle sheller drops a grenadier or whatever.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be interesting.
That would be cool. I don't know if any of you guys, this is an absolutely insane poll. It's an old PlayStation 2 game called iNinja.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying, but yeah, no, I'm afraid not.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna pull this up real quick because this came to me. BioShock crossover, Big Daddy for naval. The drill unit, the promo drill unit is kind of like that, right? The atmospheric diving trooper.
It is. Yeah. It's very
Absolutely.
similar.
I'm pretty sure it's based off of Big Daddy. Yeah, it is. Probably inspired by
It has
Big
to be.
Daddy on the thing. Most likely. This thing was super cool. Don't make this a promo. They should totally bring this back. Just as a troop. It fits
Yes.
really nice in naval. But iNinja has this boss that you fight in a like yellow submarine.
Ooh.
I couldn't find the submarine for it, but it's a giant mechanical anglerfish. I think that because I was thinking of the ancients and stuff like that for naval, to give it another boss, they could totally add Ventus to the game as like a giant mechanical anglerfish, and the boss drop it can have is the yellow submarine that you fight him in the game. You can kind of see it right here. It's like it's less of a submarine and more of like a spaceship pod, I guess, but it shoots out like giant torpedoes. Ventus can shoot out like mines at you and stuff like that. And I think that would be really cool for something to add into the game.
Yeah, that's very
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely. I think that would go insanely hard. A mechanized anglerfish? Dude, I think that'd be crazy.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that'd
that
be
sounds
cool.
really cool, honestly.
Um,
I don't know. I mean, some deep sea content would be pretty cool if they just implemented different kinds of submarines and stuff like that. I mean, probably just for like a boss, like you said, the anglerfish. If you could fight it underwater, that would be pretty neat. But you'd have to implement a lot more submarines for that to be viable. So I don't know.
I would what I want to see, because I know we did naval boss strike. Navy trooper, mini sub, mine layer should all be normal units. They should just
Mhm,
be in the dry
100%.
dock for us to train. If they want to add a building for it, they can do like, you know how there's like a Reef Bandit armory? They can do like a Sovereign Navy Academy or something that unlocks these troops to be used. I would love to see something like that.
They could just be put in the prestigious academy.
I want them to be available for everyone to just add
I
more
see.
variety to naval. I
Yeah,
also
that's
think
fair.
we could, like, there's groupers in the game right now, and there's a Kraken. We could get whales, sharks, a Megalodon boss. That would be sick. Literally anything to spice up naval. It's the ocean, for crying out loud. A sea serpent, you know? Add Moby Dick. I don't know.
Yeah.
Pirate ships. The Jolly
Ooh,
Roger. I
well-
don't know. Blackbeard.
I guess. I mean, pirates. I think that's kind of the niche that the Reef Bandits are supposed to fill, if I had to guess. But I mean, an actual pirate ship would be pretty cool. I like the Flying Dutchman. That would be pretty neat.
Oh,
as
that's a
boss.
sick pull. Electric eels. We can stun boats. See, look, we're cooking. Madrona, we work for free. You can take all of these ideas and put them in the game. I don't even care. Em, do you have anything?
I was just gonna say a shark.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A megalodon.
shark.
Awesome.
A
Would
shark
be so
feels
cool.
pretty no-brainer. Am I wrong? That just seems like it should have been added to the game a long time ago. But I mean, who am I?
Yeah, dude, I completely agree. That and crabs. I always just kind of want. I was like, I always thought I was
Crabs.
gonna meet them in naval, and I never did.
Interesting that you say crabs, because I mean, well, they would only really work in like a land and sea encounter where you have both options. Because otherwise, I mean, personally, I don't think that crabs can swim. Can they? I don't know. I'm not very familiar.
No,
with
you're
crabs
right. Most
live in
crabs
the
can't
ocean.
swim.
yeah,
I'm thinking of
yes,
crabs,
they live in the
yeah.
ocean, but they're on the bottom floor. I don't think that they.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're swimming around.
Deep sea battles. Who is
Yes,
cooking?
yes, that's what I was. That's what I said. That would be crazy.
Emp, I don't know about you, but you know how we have half land, half the shoreline battles, but only for the
Yes.
enemy? We need them for us,
Yes.
so we can
Yes,
get
that-
Oh, yeah,
crabs.
Yeah, maybe I didn't clarify, but when I was saying the split lane thing, like one tile land, one tile naval, one tile. Yeah, that's what I meant. I meant.
Oh,
the,
okay,
shore
okay,
battle.
okay.
Oolkie's just out here stealing ideas.
My
That's-
bad, my
that's just his thing.
But all good, dude. I'm glad as long as if they get to Madrona one way or other, as long as they're implemented, you know.
I would love to see something like that. I feel like there's a lot of really, like, the ocean has so many cool creatures. I don't know about you guys, but I like the ocean more than I like space. So naval to me is something that is an open frontier to add a ton of cool shit, and I hope Madrona capitalizes on that and just goes, balls to the wall crazy with it and just adds a bunch of cool shit to it.
You mentioned space though, and I just want to get this out there. I am almost completely against space fights, unless somebody can convince me otherwise. But the idea just doesn't seem to fit the game at all. It's a very grounded game in a lot of aspects, so going to space seems just a little too absurd for the game, in my opinion. But I'm curious if either of you think differently, because I've seen this suggestion float around, some stuff about space fights and stuff like that. So I just want to know what you guys think.
Would you like to take that first? Because I have a bit to say on this.
Yeah, sure. I don't have that much to say. I think space would be cool, but it does kind of tread more into like the sci-fi fantasy instead of like the military fantasy.
That's my take.
Simplicity said going to space doesn't feel right, especially when I think there is so much more we can explore just on the ground. Yeah, I agree. Same with naval. I feel like they would stretch themselves too thin, and it would be like, especially when it's introduced, it would be another naval. Not that much content. It's kind of on its own separate thing, and everyone would just like land battles more. So I'm against space. I think they should keep it on the ground and in the ocean. And planes.
Yes, planes, please.
Yeah, Emp, if you want to go take it up from here.
Yeah, I kind of explained it in a group chat, but yeah, I hate to go against you guys, but yeah, I don't think it should be implemented right now. Like, I don't think it should be like even, this year, not even next year, but in a hypothetical future, right? We have level 80 in the game, right? And Madrona Games is a fully fleshed out studio. Then I think it could work. Again, I think it's so far out, it's not worth talking about. I just wanted to say I theoretically think it could work, but I completely understand you gentlemen not being based in reality. It being another whole concept that they wouldn't be able to go into, like you said, to be a whole another naval. If they did it right now, absolutely. So yeah, it would be a whole nother concept, way off into the future. But I do have to admit, I can't lie to you, gentlemen. I do like space. Made a whole video on it, so yeah.
It's a cool idea, 100%. But I'm curious, what are some ideas for a unit that you could feasibly train in said space content?
Aliens, Martians, a astronaut with a gun. Just silly stuff like that.
An astronaut with a gun.
Trooper with a helmet.
You can recreate the meme. Yeah. Okay. Well, like there's definitely some interesting options. It just feels like it would start to venture more and more into like the Star Wars territory. And if at that point we want to do a Star Wars collab, then sure, whatever.
To be fair, that's M's territory right there.
That is M's territory, yes. I just think that there's so much that they can do here on Earth, or whatever planet Battle Nations takes place on. But I don't know. Like, there's just a lot of interesting things that we can already do. Going to space feels like a last resort, in my opinion. It feels like you've explored everything that we could possibly do in a more realistic scenario, and now we're just kind of grasping for anything.
Oh yeah, dude, all jokes aside, you need to finish out Naval, you need to get everything back into the game. There's infinite things that need to be done before a Battle Nations in space. I just kind of threw that video out there as kind of a fun thought concept. I heard a few people talking about it, and I just thought it'd be funny. But yeah, no, as far as the actual reality of the situation goes, as we just talked about first, Naval needs to be fixed, and Naval's actually in the game, so that needs to be fixed. The rest of the game needs to be added, just maybe in a far-flung future where you're looking for more options.
Yeah, it would definitely have to be a huge update, like one that takes some like months of working on to add a bunch of stuff in at the same time to really give it life instead of just being bare bones.
We would get an opportunity for another base at least, so that would be cool, because I personally love designing my base. So being able to decorate another base in space would be pretty cool. And I will say it's not completely far-fetched. We do have lasers already in the game, so it's not completely out of the realm of possibility. I just think that it's definitely a last resort for content.
Yeah, too big of an endeavor right now. Too many things to do. Completely agreed.
And what do you think about the double base idea, or adding a second base? I know it's been thrown around a little bit. I personally hate the idea. You said that you were a Supercell head. I think it'll turn into builder base, where it's cool at the start, it's something new and fresh, but after like a couple months, it gets abandoned by the player base, abandoned by Supercell. It's, in my opinion, it's always going to be thought of as the second base. One that's just always thrown to the side. And people are always going to care about their main base way more, and, eventually it'll just become excess or unneeded. I don't know if you have any opinions on second base.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I do actually have opinions on this. I state that in the video, which is funny because he mentioned it as well. In that video, I talk about the concept of a moon base, and because just it had been posed before, but I completely understand what you're saying, because I also say if we were to do a moon base, we would have to look at the builder base and do the exact opposite, because I believe in theory the builder base was awesome. You know, if you look back on the trailer for that, you know, going across sea, a new base, everybody was excited. They thought it'd be cool, and it was for a little bit, but the problem is they made all the units unique, they made all the resources unique, so it genuinely felt, you know, like a second base. You know, they had no connection to the first. And the problem with that is, well, now you evolve 2 accounts and you only really care about one of your accounts, the main account. So that's why I think you should focus on the moon base always serving the main base and always serving the main content. I think then you could make it work. I completely understand your pullback though from the builder base, because yeah, that was just off. But yeah, do want to clarify that. I had mentioned it, and I even said it would be the opposite of the builder base if we were to do it.
They would have to combine them almost. You know, it's a second base, but
like,
all your stuff is still there, kind of.
It's a colony. It serves the main base. That's why I believe the Supercell one effed up so much, because it was literally its own base. You had to, you know, go there, do your things at that base, build up resources at that base, as opposed to, you know, do anything from your main base and bring it over. You would have to have this moon base bring resources back to your main base and serve your main base.
Yeah, in a similar vein, I would say, like, after on our main base we've, you know, filled out all the squares, what are your thoughts on, like, just making our current base even bigger than the map that we can see? Because, you know, we have a map that we can kind of zoom our camera out and get a little bit of a glimpse into the areas past that. There's nothing really stopping Madrona from just increasing that. Would you be interested in, you know, just making a really, really big base? Or do you think that would be too big at a certain point? Like, what are your thoughts on something like that?
Dude, absolutely. My only fear, yeah, dude, I love the concept. My only fear would be programming issues and how hard that would be for them to implement, and then possibly, you know, try to make everybody bases bigger in real time, you know, during the update. However, if they could implement, I think it would be wonderful, because, you know, Boris talked about, you know, how they were using pretty much everything iOS offered back in the day to make the original Battle Nations. The reason the original Battle Nations was not on Android is because Android literally could not support the original Battle Nations. Of course, eventually, you know, Android would upgrade their stuff to be able to handle Battle Nations, but initially that was the reason it was only on iOS. So I believe though, if iOS could run that back in 2011 at peak, I think most people's devices in 2025 should be just fine. And yeah, I think it would be awesome if we just expanded a little bit, gave everybody a little bit more room.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can play like tuned down computer games on your phone now, so I think that it'll be able to handle Battle Nations. It's not the most intensive game anymore, luckily.
Absolutely, dude. It was cutting edge in 2011. I mean, they did every coding trick to make it work, and then it used literally every option iOS had available, and you could not put it on anything else because iOS was the only one who can handle it. Nowadays, like you said, dude, you have Civ 6 on mobile now. Like, you know, mobile can pretty much handle anything as long as it's a memory issue. It can't hold the memory, but yeah, I think you could have no problem expanding up it now.
Yeah, 100%. I personally just love to build my base. I spent a lot of time decorating my base, so it's just one of those features that I would really like to see. Just making the base even bigger than what we currently have visible on the map. Just give us some interesting things to do. Because I do agree. I think if we got a second base, it's just going to be forgotten about. Like, you're going to have to convince people to take more time and work on another base when they've already spent so much time, you know, staring at their current base for hours on end, upgrading things and all that stuff. Now you have to go to another base and do that again. I don't think that anybody's going to want to do that. So just giving us more space to work with, letting us build more things, increasing the population cap even more. I think that's just probably the way to go. If Madrona can make it work. I don't know what it looks like on their end or how difficult that would be to implement. I don't know if that would be a game-breaking change for them, where they have to rewrite the entire game again. So I don't know what it would be, but personally, that's one of my, you know, wish list items.
Dude, I like that. I like that a lot.
That actually makes me wonder, do you have a wish list item? Is there like one thing that if you could just wish it to come true that you would have in Battle Nations?
One thing, and I thankfully think it's already been confirmed. I'm pretty confident. And that is for watch an ad for a nanopod to come back. And I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed optional ads will be coming back. Just because, dude, that was my lifeline back in the day. I spent all of my allowance on Battle Nations, and then I would still want more nano. So I would just reset endlessly until they gave me more ads. But yeah, bringing that back just for nostalgia reasons. Also, it's going to be the best quality of life improvement for free-to-play players of all time.
That is so funny. That is not what I thought your wish list item was going to be. But
yeah, my bad. I should have picked something better.
I respect it. I mean, you're thinking of the free-to-plays. That is a valiant thing to do. Personally, I am not that kind. I want a bigger base, but you know, I do respect it, and I will make use of it. I'll say that much. I am a whale. I can't deny that, but I would still probably watch some ads to get some free nanopods, especially to speed something up every once in a while.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, M's gonna be running 4 devices at the same time, running ads on all of them. Every single account getting paid.
Dude, I'm about to fund Madrona games through ad revenue alone. Watch.
Sorry, go ahead.
I did want to ask. Oh yeah, no, I was just curious because he said he was a whale. I wanted to ask a follow-up question because it would be perfect because I'm over here thinking of free-to-play players, but I want to ask a question specifically for a whale. In your opinion, what do you think should be the amount limited per day of ads? So what I mean by that is you don't want people to be able to watch unlimited ads, and it's almost 99% confident they've confirmed they're not going to do that. The reason I can state that is because if assuming you sit there and just watch ad after ad after ad, assuming you get the longest pull, 30 seconds each time, that still lets you watch well over enough ads to get 2,400 nanopods if you just sit there nonstop. And people like me would actually do that because that's over $200 worth of nanopods from just watching ads. So then begs the question, if you're an average person, you're not rich, why would you ever buy nanos? Just sit there and endlessly watch ads. So I think they will definitely have to do a hard limit. And I wanted to ask you, as somebody who is a whale, who they're obviously going to be trying to, cater the system around to make sure they don't, not you particularly, but, other whales, make sure they don't offend them. Oh yeah. What do you think would be a good limit for the number of nanopods you're allowed to get per day per free? So how many ads? Because you get 1 nanopod per ad.
5 a day.
That is a difficult question. Yeah. Okay. Well, 5 a day is a little restricting.
Okay. Look. 5 a day over an entire year is 1,825 nanopods. And let's say that you only get half of those. For half of it, you watch ads. That's still 912 nanopods over the course of a year, about.
Okay. I'm going to be a little bit more generous. I'm going to say 10.
10
and
a day
I say that
that's
I say
lot.
that because I know, but people that are dedicated are going to do it no matter what number you give them. But the people that only want a few here or there are only going to do as many as they can tolerate, right? So I think personally I would be fine with 10 ads a day, purely because if they keep some of the systems the way that they were, specifically talking about promos and talking about, upgrading your buildings to the advanced versions, stuff like that. Unfortunately, free-to-play players kind of do need a little bit of a stepping stone to compete with some of the whales. I'm not going to lie. It's very hard for some free-to-play players to actually catch up to the progress that a whale can make in any given amount of time. So I think just allowing them to, upgrade some of their resources to advanced, maybe get an extra healing structure, because that's going to be very important for boss strikes, is having maybe 1 or 2 extra repair bays, stuff like that, or even more, depending on how many units you're going to be running or how many losses you're going to have. That's already a pretty big expenditure list, and you haven't even accounted for promos. So then you throw in promos into the calculation here. That's a lot of nanopods that you're losing on just random things. I think that 10 ads a day is probably more than enough for the hardcore dedicated free-to-plays that will watch all those ads, however many ads you give them. The people that will watch them are going to watch them. Capping them at 10, I think, is a good idea. It rewards them for being dedicated, in my opinion.
I don't know. I think 5. I'm not anti free to play, but Madrona does have to kind of, make money, and I feel like
That's true.
like I would probably not buy the $300 Mammoth Drop if I could watch 10 ads a day. Over a year, that's what the NAB just did it. 3,360 nanopods over a year. That's over $50. Oh no, that's over $100 in nanopods a year if you watch 10 ads a day.
Oh yeah, because I just
That's
pulled up, and even
true.
in a week, like 3 weeks, that's 210 nanopods. That's a $10 pack right there every 3 weeks for free.
So if everyone did that,
Yeah.
Madrona's losing baseline $120 in a year.
It does suck
True.
because I do completely understand where it comes from. Because 10 doesn't sound that outrageous, but it's just only once you do it over long scales does it really start to, kind of sound bad. But you also, one thing I do want to throw in here is it's a fine game, because you're absolutely all right. There are some players, no matter what amount you do, even if we did 1 nano, there's still some players like, oh, well, I can get nanos for free. I'm never going to, buy nanos again. And that's fine. But you want to balance those out with the people who are free to play, whether they be kids, whether they be determined adults. There are people who are never going to spend money on Battle Nations, even though they will play it constantly. And that's because they don't hate it or anything. It's just because they literally cannot afford to give Madrona Games money because, money's tight. So those people have no way of supporting the games. You give them ads, now they can support you through ad revenue. So it's about monetizing those people who normally would just, take away, server time, are now turning a profit for Madrona. Now how Madrona, balances that, whether it be 1 nano, whether it be 10, that's up to them to decide.
Yeah, I mean, those are very valid arguments. I guess personally, I just don't really mind if the free-to-plays have a few more options. Somebody did point out, I think, Humanoid pointed out that, I mean, ads will still make them some money. It's not going to be the exact same amount that you would get from supporting them directly, but it's not like they straight up just lose a large chunk of money. They are going to get paid out in some manner, but I would be fine with dropping it down to 5. I just think, because the original question was how many do I think, I would be fine if it was 10. I would probably watch the ads, and I would probably still buy nanopods personally. But that's just because I like to train a lot of extra units. I think I would be okay with 5 ads a day being the limit. I'm not sure exactly what would be the best for Madrona. I am curious to know like how much they would actually end up making off of the ad. But that's just semantics at that point. So
Yeah.
Dude.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, dude, I was just going to say, I mean, I appreciate, you saying that at 10 because, normally it's kind of the opposite. Free to play says, we want 10, and then you ask, well, and they're like, oh, I don't think there should be free nanopods. So I just wanted to, thank you for, giving the free to play players that 10.
I guess I've just spoken to enough free to play players that they've convinced me. That might be it.
They definitely need a bone from Madrona. They're kind of... It's a rough spot to be free to play, I'm not going to lie. I'm glad that I have disposable money to spend on the game. I don't envy their position for sure. But yeah, it's been on for hour 17. It's approaching 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
I know it's pretty late for some of you guys, so I think that's a good spot to wrap it up. Em, do you have any closing words for us? Anything you want to say?
Just thank you for inviting me to the radio. I had a great time. I enjoyed talking to you gentlemen. If you guys would if you guys don't have anything scheduled for next week, I would love to come back on next week or whenever you guys have another spot open.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, just thank you guys for having me.
Shoot, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
If I don't have anything, I'd
absolutely.
love to have you back on, honestly. That's crazy. That's awesome.
Okay.
Absolutely, man.
Well,
Yeah, thank you gentlemen for having me here. And yeah, I had a whole bunch of fun talking about ad spots with you, random promo units, Star Wars, and everything in between.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming out. It's really cool to see you on. Y'all go, if you guys haven't already, check out M's channel as well. And if you haven't subscribed to us, check out our channel as well. We just uploaded the VOD from last week. So if you guys want to check that out, it is on there. The VOD for this week will be going up next Thursday when we do the next episode of Boom Bus. And we have some new production stuff coming in probably in the next couple weeks. So Boom Bus production is going to be going up. We've got some really cool things planned for you guys. So thank you guys for coming out. Thank you, Em, for showing up as well. Probably be in contact with you and see if you want to come up for next week as well.
Dude, absolutely. Yeah, I'll keep that open. Of course, if you can keep me updated with you guys. And thank you for having me on. This is a ton of fun. I wish you guys the best of luck. And I think this series is going to have a very bright future. I'm very glad to be in. This is episode 2.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Absolutely. Very glad to have been in episode 2. Thank you, gentlemen. You guys have a great night.
All right, you too.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
You guys have a good night.
Later.
Thank you for coming out.